Hi there. Previously on Lights, Camera, Chaos, I took you behind the scenes of Star Wars to explore the challenges of making a movie such as that. The delays, the budget overruns, the casting problems, and the studio executive interventions that can kill a picture stone dead. Well, this time, instead of a journey to a galaxy far, far away, I'm taking you back to the Wild West of 1798 America. In fact, although the film is set in the 1700s, it draws its inspiration from the morals and attitudes of modern-day America today. It pokes fun at racism, the role of women, derogatory language, and cultural stereotypes. The film I'm talking about is the iconic Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks describes the film as a pastiche of every Western film ever made. He uses comic elements to illustrate the film's main point, to make fun of racism, specifically against black people, but also Jews and other ethnic minorities. I'll leave it to Mel Brooks to explain further.
Blazing Saddles for me was a film that truly broke ground. It also broke wind, and maybe that's why it broke ground. But there were a lot of avant-garde conceptions in that movie.
Produced and written by Mel Brooks, along with 4 other writers, that's Richard Pryor, Andrew Bergman, Norman Steinberg, and Alan Uger. Here, Alan Bergman talks about his experience working with the other writers and the concept for the movie, which was originally his idea before Mel Brooks got hold of it.
And it was really exciting. It was really, really funny because we knew nobody was going to go see this movie. So we threw in everything but the kitchen sink.
One of the main characters, played by Cleven Little, is the sheriff, who is black and arrives with Gucci saddlebags.
You make the joke with the Gucci bags and that he's hip, and that's it. You take it for granted. You don't examine it.
In the following scene, Mel Brooks plays a Native American Indian chief who, instead of speaking in the language of an Indian tribe, speaks in Yiddish. This highlights not only attitudes in the 1970s towards black people and Indians, but also towards Jews. There's even a reference to the Ku Klux Klan, an American white supremacist group, a far-right hate group.
Schwarzes? No, seid nicht Meshuggah. Laws im Gain! Kappa walk, it's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be gesinnt. Take off. Hast du gesehen in deiner Leben? Darker than us. Woof!
The engine that drove Blazing Saddles was hatred of the black. It was race prejudice. Without that, the movie would not have had nearly the significance, the force, the dynamism, and the stakes that were contained in the film.
One of the notable scenes, and the dilemma behind it, is described here by one of the leading actors, Burton Gillian. It caused great concern for the studio because of its racist language, although it was used for comic effect.
When we were doing the scene out there on the desert, he said, if I thought you would say those words to me in any other situation, we'd go to Fifth City. But somebody wrote these words. This is all fun. You say anything you want to say, and if you want to say it differently and even add stuff to it, go right ahead. Mel will go along with that.
Now come on, boys. Where's your spirit? I don't hear no singing. When you were slaves, you sang like birds. Come on, how about a good old nigger work song?
I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a belt out of you?
First things on my desk when we came out from New York was from their censored department, or the TV department, actually. It was 4 or 5 pages, singularly spaced. One word on the left side said delete, and then every curse word that's in the picture.
Gene Wilder, another star of the film, explains the reason why he took the part.
They've done something, the writers, remarkable, in that they've smashed racism in the face, and the nose is bleeding, but they're doing it while you laugh.
We were celebrating the triumph of humanity over its inherent hatreds and prejudices.
One of the most famous scenes in the film is the campfire scene.
Favorite scene is the bean scene, the campfire scene. And I think it's a lot of people's favorite scene. And I got to start it. Mel Brooks said, "I'm going to make you famous today." I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, you read the script. You're going to be the first one, and you are going to be the first person in major motion picture history to do that."
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you've had enough.
They kept saying, "You can't do it that loud." And he said, no, trust me, it's got to be that loud. And it was true, because after the first guy breaks wind, you don't hear anything anyhow in an audience. All you heard were people screaming, because it was the surprise, it was the shock of it, that anybody had the audacity to do that in a movie.
Frankie Lane, a famous singer associated with iconic Western films like High Noon and the TV series Rawhide, sang the main title theme, but was never told it was a send-up of the Western genre. It was reported that when he did find out what it was all about, he wanted his name taken from the credits. However, reports also indicate that he took the joke very well and later enjoyed telling the story against himself.
He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far.
Never, ever be another Blazing Saddles, ever. And when I say it, I'm sitting there, I get chills talking about that, because there is nobody that I have ever met who has ever seen Blazing Saddles and is a Blazing Saddles fan that picture can be topped by any other picture. None.
Let's give the last word to the producer of Blazing Saddles, Michael Hertzberg.
Saddles is one of the few comedies that is not only long-lasting for audiences, but it keeps throwing off money to the people who made it in the first place. And I tell everybody that I'm living in the house that farts built.
If you've never seen Blazing Saddles, this iconic film is well worth viewing. I hope you enjoyed that. See you soon.